Good evening, my dear YouTube viewers. Today also we will continue the village studies with regarding to the purity and pollution. If a person collect the dirty clothes from the higher caste and cleaned and returned them, by this he never comes or treated as a polluted person, but he will be treated as agent of purification. This was noticed by Mr. Dumont. If untouchables touches the part of higher caste, immediately they replaced it. But if the part is made up of metal like the brass or bronze, they will clean and use it but not replace. The reason behind this is, in case if you wash a pot lot of time, sometimes it may broken and it is cheap to replace it also. But in case of metal pot, easily clean and moreover it is a high price or to purchase again. Impure caste should not live nearby or same premises or vicinity. It is only allowed for pure caste or higher caste. Mr. Professor Radha Kamal Mukherjee described the futures for the social discrimination at the villages in the following way. The untouchables should not sit against the common floor before the higher caste. Interdining is also not allowed, and they were not entertained in the kitchen. They should not touch our kitchen pots, earthen pots, and they were not allowed to mix at the time of social festivals, that is common festivals, and against admitted into the interior of the house. They never allowed in the center part of the house. Against any kind of physical contact, they should not touch our body because they were untouchables. Purity and pollution principles are controlling the interaction and interrelations either directly or indirectly through our regular habits, daily habits. Number 1, dietary and martial customs. Food habits will determine the pure caste. Example, Brahmins are treated as pure caste, but some exceptions are also observed in the Brahmin caste. Example, Bengal and Kashmiri Brahmins, they were the non-vegetarians. They consume fish as well as the meat also, noticed by Mr. Kalenda. This dietary and martial customs reflects on ritual status of the caste. Degree of impurity varies at caste system. Example, start from the pork meat, beef, mutton, chicken and eggs. The people who consume pork and beef, those people will come under the maximum impure caste. Later, the degree of pollutedness will be decreased if they consume the mutton and the eggs. And some higher caste people, they never touch the non-vegetarians, not even egg. They were strictly pure vegetarians. Added to this, there is one more extra feature. They were always follows the monogamy. One man, one woman, they should marry. But it was not allowed. Remarriage phenomenon and divorce phenomenon. Next, inheritance of pollution. Many lower caste people are suffered with the defilement and impurity. After the death of the particular, maybe higher caste, the death of a person, the corpus will be, if it is a male corpus, man will clean it. Female corpus, female woman will be clean it. This work is allotted for polluted caste people, not for the other touchable caste. Along with this, their nails cutting, hair tonsuring is also done by the polluted caste. Maybe untouchables maybe touchables. Touchables is equal to barbar caste. They will only at the time of activity they will be polluted. After that again they will come to the touchable caste. Brahmins cannot accept water from the lower caste, but they accepted food which was coated by the ghee or butter from middle castes or the middle rank people. The reason is food was boiled with fire. That's why they were accepted. The fire will the cleanser. Divisible and particle. Under this, the Professor Merritt and Biden understood the nature of purity and pollution through the various scriptures and non-scriptures also, such as Vedas, from Vedas, Brahmans, Upanishad, classical works on morals, medical sciences. Finally, from West Bengal, during the medieval period, caste-related moral books. The content from the scriptures bespeak, that is, indicates of an individual own perception and views. The theory of purity and pollution principle is also observed through the exchange of particles or substances, example saliva, sweat, hair particles. This is allowed only for higher caste to the higher caste, but higher caste to lower or lower to higher it is not allowed. Example, even the process of digestion and sexual intercourse too, it is applicable. From this it is understood the degree of pollution differ from person or divisible or individual to another. Once again we will recap the information. If a person collect the dirty clothes from the higher caste and cleaned it, again he will return to them. By this he never be treated as a polluted person, but he will be treated as agent of purification. It was noticed by, explained by the Dumont professor. If untouchable touches the part of the higher caste, that is in the kitchen, immediately they will replace it because clay made pot. But if the pot is made up of metal, maybe brass or alloy, something like that, they will clean and use it but not replace. The reason behind this is, in case if you wash a pot, a lot of time is required, sometimes it may broken, and if it is, and also it is cheap to replace it. But in case of metal pot, easily clean and moreover very high price to purchase again. Impure caste should not live nearby or same vicinity at the premises. It is only allowed for pure castes or higher caste. Professor Radha Kamal Mukherjee described the features of social discrimination between untouchables and the touchables. 1. Untouchables should not sit against the common floor when the higher caste people were sitting. They should not interdine with the untouchables, and they were not allowed in the kitchen, and they should not touch the parts of the kitchen. Again, mixing the social festival, they, even though there is a common festival at the village, they were not entertained to mix with them to enjoy the feelings. Against the admission into the interior of the house, there are number of suits will be there in the house, they were not allowed. Against any kind of physical contact, they should not touch our body. These are the characteristic features which made the discrimination between the untouchables and the touchables. Purity and pollution principles are controlling the interactions and interrelations either directly or indirectly. Number 1, dietary and martial customs. Food habits will determine the pure caste. Example, Brahmins are treated as pure caste, but some exceptions are there for the Brahmin caste too. Bengal and Kashmir Brahmins, they were consumed the non-vegetarian food. Example, fish and the meat. The Professor Kalandra is noted down. They said fishes are the Jalpushp. This dietary and martial customs reflected on ritual status of caste, the degree of impurity at various castes. Example, start from the pork, meat, beef, mutton, chicken and eggs, etc. Here pork and beef consumers comes under the maximum impure caste. Later, the degree of pollution will be decreased those who will consume the mutton and the eggs. But some higher caste people, they never touch the non-vegetarian, strictly vegetarians. Added to this, some other features also they are following, like the monogamy, marriage, that is in the marriage system, one man, one woman relationship will be allowed. Even after widow, if she become widow, she is not allowed to remarry. And divorce phenomenon was also not noticed. This was taken in long back, not now. Inheritance of pollution. Many lower caste people are suffered with the defilement and impurities. After the death, a male body was cleaned by the male person and the female body was cleaned by the female person, woman, from the lower untouchable caste. Along with this, nails cutting, hair tonsuring is also done by the polluted caste. These people basically belongs to the touchable caste. While they are doing that activity, example barbers, they will be treated as polluted. After finishing that event or activity, they will come to the normalcy. Brahmins cannot accept water from the lower caste, but they accepted food which was coated by the ghee or butter from the middle rank people. The reason is food was boiled with fire, so that the cleansing had been taken place, the purification activity had been taken place through the fire. That's why they were accepted. Next, the third one, divisible and particle. The Marett and Biden professors are understood what is the purity and pollution. They were understood from the various scriptures and non-scriptures. If it is non-scriptures, example Vedas, Brahmins, Upanishads, classical works on the morals and medical sciences. Finally, from the West Bengal, during the medieval period, caste-related moral books. From all these books, they understood along with the oral, from mouth to mouth also. So that's why we are using scriptures and non-scriptures. The content from the scriptures beseek, that is an indicator of an individual according to their own perception and the views. The theory of purity and pollution principle is also observed through the exchange of particles or substances, example saliva, sweating and hair particles. This is allowed only higher to higher caste, but not higher to lower or lower to the higher. Even the process of digestion and sexual intercourse, the same philosophy or the same principle is executed. From this it is understood degree of pollution differ from person or divisible or individual to another. By this, today's lecture is completed. So the gist of the information is purity and pollution. That is, one is food habits, second one is the distance between the touchables and the untouchables and the cleaning activity. Touchables are acting as a cleansing or purificating agents, but basically untouchables are used only for the cleaning purpose. Even after cleaning, they never be treated as the touchables, but some castes are. After cleaning their activity, after completion of their activity, they will come to the touchable caste. Example, Harijans are 100% untouchables, whereas barbers are only at the time of activity they will be polluted or untouchables. Later they will come to the touchables. So not only for this, and marital status, that is the marriage phenomenon. Monogamous they use it to practice, and either after widow they should not allowed for remarriage, that is widow remarriages, and divorce phenomenon was not noticed. So within their own group subgroup they want to marry or to maintain the interactions and interrelations. By this today's lecture is completed. Okay, good day and good night. If possible, please do subscribe.